So, as we say, it's a 1-to-1. So let's see what the French can do this time. Well, let's see, there's a safe spot more or less over here. Give it a good shake. All right. And we have a 4. And we have a +1, of course, in play because the defenders are shielded. So that gives a total of 5. So it's 1-to-1 with a 5, which over here, 1-to-1 with a 5 gives us attacker retreat. So they're going to have to get themselves out of there. And so let's see, the artillery was displaced. This artillery unit was displaced back to here. And the French that were here attacking Picton had to retreat to the spot here. Now, there is an advance after combat option, which Picton has chosen not to take because he wants to hang on to his shielded status, which he loses as soon as he makes any kind of movement. Okay? Right, so at the centre, at La Haye-Sainte, now remember, Picton has already been attacked. So normally, if he hadn't been attacked, he would have to be attacked now or sooner or later, but he has already been attacked. So that's been satisfied. So now these chaps here have to attack. So they're going to be attacking the chaps at... excuse me about messing with the focus there. Was in too close. Sorry about that. These chaps have to attack La Haye-Sainte, and then they can use, they've got the ground battery here behind them, so of course they're going to use that. So as we can see, we've got 5, 10, 14. We've got 14 attacking these chaps who are worth 3 plus an extra 3 because they are defending in a building, and then +1 on the die because they are shielded. So they're worth 6. So we've got 14 against 6, which gives us 2-to-1, and then a +1 on the die. So it's 2-to-1 with a +1. So let's roll that up and see what we get. And we get a 6, which, as I say, the higher it is, the worse it is for the defender, for the attacker, I'm sorry. 2-to-1 with a 6, which would become a 7, but it actually doesn't, just remains a 6 with that +1. So it's actually, again, gone spectacularly badly for the French. Instead of getting a more mediocre defender retreat, which the in this case the defenders could ignore because they are, is it because they're in a building or because they're shielded? Can't remember. If they're shielded defenders in a building, they can ignore defender retreat, yeah. But no, they did far worse than that. They got attacker retreat. So things are going spectacularly badly for the French. So let's sort that out. Yes, so seems to me, if I can remember in... Oh, sorry, let me first of all finish up what happened there. Yeah, so we had retreats. So we had, let's see, the bombarding artillery didn't have to retreat, but instead they were displaced. Excuse me. Sorry about that, tickly cough. Anyway, they were displaced. These chaps displaced the artillery, who displaced the cavalry. So we had this big push down here, these 3 units. And these chaps had to come back as well, of course. So, yeah, that's the retreat there of the attacker. And so in every instance, we've had an attack which failed and had an attacker retreat, which I think is considerably worse than the start of the battle that Philip Sabin broadcast on his channel. So the French at the moment are doing remarkably badly. Okay. And let's see, was there something else I was going to mention, I think, which I can't quite put my finger on. Right, well, let's press on. All right, so we've pressed on, and we've done the Allied commander, which is to say, His Grace, the Duke of Wellington, has pressed on, and Well, what have we got? We've turned the units that we've moved. So these infantry chaps here, which I believe Philip Sabin said were Brunswickers, have moved forward to take up position in the buildings here of, I think that's Merbebrunn here. Well, there, I should say. So they've moved forward. And I'm apparently cheating because, let's see here. Yeah, just 1 second. Oop. New to this. So they've lost their shielded status. They did that because I wanted them to come forward to get more of a continuous series of zones of control going around here. And they do get the benefits of the building. They get a +3 for being in a building. So, yeah, they've been brought forward. And the idea is that otherwise looks like we're pretty solid around there. Let's see. And then beyond that, let's see, these cavalry, it's all a question of cavalry, really, because everybody else is holding on tight to their prepared positions or their other side of the hill. So these chaps have moved into this position here. Keep an eye on this cavalry here, way out on the flank, around in the regions of La Haye. And then we've got the big guns, the two strong Anglo-Allied, or in this case British heavy cavalry divisions. So we've got, let's get the old thing going here. Lovely. Yep. So we've got the General Reserve and the Heavy Reserve, which, if I remember, were Ponsonby and Somerset. That's right. And they're having a go over here at, let's see who we got. We got the 4th Division of the 1st Corps, D'Erlon's Corps. They're having a go at that. So as we can see, we've got a 4 and a 4 against the 4. There are no other factors involved, so that's a straight 2-1. And then, so we've got that attack there. We've also got an attack here, though, because these chaps here, which is the 2nd Corps, the 5th Division of the 2nd Corps here, they're going to be bombarded by these two units here. So we've got a 3 and a 2, so that's 5. That'll be a 1-1. But it's basically free for the Allies because they can come to no grief doing the bombarding. And I mean, why not? I mean, I say here's to it, as I often do. Right, so I think we'll do the bombarding first, seeing as it's a bit of a very little tactical sort of finesse needed on that one. So let's just go ahead and roll that up. So we've got 1-1. And with a 3, there is no adjustment involved to the score. So it's 1-1 with a 3 is a defender retreat. So they got a result there. Let's take care of that. So there we go. The French have had to retreat to, they've chosen to retreat to that position there. And then over here on the French left, we've got the British heavy cavalry. How's that going? The old charge, sending the charge, going in against those chaps on the French right. So let's see what they can pull off. Let's see, there's the old die. So they got a 2-1 and no adjustments to the die roll. Let's see what we get. Give it a good shake. Right. And we have a 1, which is good for the attacker, if I remember. Yes. So we've got 2-1 with a 1. We got defender retreat. Let's sort that out. And so there we are. Now the French have retreated, and because the attack involved Anglo-Allied 3-5 or 4-5 cavalry, the strongest such unit must advance into a vacated, which is not to say adjacent vacant hex. Right, so one of those two units had to advance into that hex. All right, so these chaps that were here advanced into the hex, because the idea there is that subsequently neither one of these two units can be surrounded by the enemy. This unit here can't move into this hex here because that would mean it was in zone of control and moving, which it can't do. It has to attack. That's what it has to do on its turn. Same thing here. This unit here could go to that position there or there or there. But the point is the thing is they can't get it in around the back behind these units. So the whole point is therefore that if they had to retreat, they can retreat to here. If they had to retreat, they could retreat to there, or they could retreat to there, unless it was already occupied. So I suppose, let's see, if they attacked from here, if they went to here, they could attack them. But of course, then they'd have the burden of attacking them as well. So that would be a bit of a forlorn hope, I would think. So I think that's not a bad position to end up in. So again, we're waiting for... first blood to us. We're waiting for someone to cause some casualties, and well, of course, in the simulation, there are bodies on the field, for the bloodthirsty out there. Oh, there are certainly men and horses strewn about the field, but not in massive quantities yet. So no, we've not seen the loss of a single strength point. We have seen some shuffling going on. And I suppose so far, generally speaking, it's would we say that it's gone all the way of the Allies? Yes, the French have been repulsed when they attacked, and the Allies made an attack and they succeeded. So that doesn't mean the dice are one-sided. I think they are a bit one-sided at the moment, but there haven't been that many dice rolls yet. Other interesting developments. So we saw a good, strong cavalry attack there, pushed that division back. We've seen that sometimes the Anglo-Allied commander, or rather His Grace, the Duke of Wellington, will see fit to abandon the shielded status and, move forward, especially if there are, buildings to be occupied. Here's to it. Okay, so interesting stuff. If now officially, sorry, I didn't mention, but although the French first move, the movement at least, was an exact replica of what Philip Sabin did in his video. As soon as we got into the combat, yes, the dice rolls were different and we got some different results. And the Anglo-Allied first move, the move that was made by His Grace the Duke of Wellington, was entirely of my own conception. Although certainly parts of it were similar to the work of Philip. And that's where we're at right now. So that actually, that's a complete turn. So we finished that complete turn. So now we get the sort of slightly unusual concept over here. So now we go from 1 o'clock to 2:30. So we go to sort of that line there. So flip it over for the French. And it's now 2:30. And we're ready for the French second turn. But I think one thing will intervene before that, and that is at the Preston household, one heck of a New Year's Eve. What's it going to be? It's going to be wine and beer and raclette. Yes, the tabletop cooking sort of a thing. And a bottle of bubbles with my wife and my daughter's intended. And it should be splendid. And then after that, we'll come back in 2024 and carry on with the clash at Waterloo. Okay, so here we are at the end of the Emperor's movement in turn 2. So now we're actually at 2:30, and we've had lots of interesting developments, lots of movement. We've got let's see, what have we got? We got 4 attacks taking place. Okay, right. So let's see, The Imperial Guard down here are they're fixed in place. They can't move until turn 3 under the Sabin amendments. Then we've got these chaps here, which yes. Anyway, we've got these chaps here, that started out here, and their restriction is that whenever they move, they must be moving eastward. And of course, because of the hex grid, it took me a while to realize this, but because of the hex grid, which of course, goes up and down like this, if you go eastward, it's not a straight line. So all they have to do is go eastward. So that means that it's okay for them to move, for example, in this direction, which is northeast, or they can move southeast. So they've come to these positions here, and the idea is that they're going to spread out along here and probably form some sort of contiguous zones of control to be able to block or at least interfere with Prussian arrivals. They will be arriving on, not in this turn, they'll be arriving on the next turn, the first batch of Prussians, which is going to be 4 infantry units, or 4 infantry divisions, a cavalry division, and also artillery. So 6 units will arrive. Okay, that's what's going on there. These chaps have remained in place. That seemed to be a fairly useful place for them to be. Now, around the British heavy cavalry, what the Emperor has decided to do is to attack these chaps here. And because there was an opportunity to be able to get a 3-to-1 combat. So we've got these 2 infantry divisions going forward here, and then we've got a cavalry unit over here, and then we also have artillery here. So we've got a total of 4, 4, 3, and 1. We've got a total of 12 going against the cavalry there. Then over here we've got, because this cavalry unit is in contact with them, it's also in contact with them, or it's in the zone of control rather of them. So someone has to attack that unit. So that's where these chaps came in here. So they've got a 1-to-2, which of course they don't expect to win, but at least they've only got a 1 in 6 chance of being eliminated themselves. So it's a risk that the French commander, which is to say the Emperor, was prepared to take. Then we have the Guard light cavalry, which has moved up into this position here, and the logic there was just let's get it up there so it can sort of interfere with things. And it's got a move of 6, which is huge. So of course, if the British made a foolish move to stop zone of control going to, remember these 4 hexes here, the French can't enter under the Sabin amendments. So yeah, he's up there keeping an eye on any gaps and that sort of thing. So yeah, we got a 3-to-1 there. Then down here we have this powerful infantry unit here was able to go forward and is attacking. So that would actually be, let's say this is D'Erlon's corps, the 1st Corps. So it's the 2nd Division 1st Corps, and they're going in there against this reserve artillery, supported by, or also attacking will be the bombarding Grand Battery here will be coming in. So then you'll have 10 against 3. They are shielded, so they'll have a +1 under the Sabin amendments. Okay, so that's what's going on there. And then in the more sort of in the center, let's see. Well, sorry, they're in. I made a mistake there, didn't I? Or rather, the Emperor, perhaps, because yes, completely escaped my attention that they're in La Haye Sainte. Okay, so. Yeah, so they're they get a +3 for that, don't they? Yeah, they sure do. Yeah, so they're worth 6. Yeah, so they're being attacked by 10, which would only be 1-to-1. Ooh, might have to have a bit of a rethink about that. Okay, then further down, we've got these 2 units here, which has just moved up. Okay, then we have. Let's see, this cavalry unit has moved up to here as well. Here we've got another just slogging away, attacking Hougoumont. The chances of success there are slim, but you've got to score points somehow. And if they can take Hougoumont, if they can just get the defender, eliminated basically, because they can ignore retreat results, can't they? Yes. Oh, that one there is really, that's messed me up. I completely forgot about the fact that they were in the farm. And why? Because I can't see the farm. That's why. I probably need to reposition them somewhat so it becomes rather more obvious that they are in a building. Okay. I mean, I know it is Waterloo, and, I should sort of know that without thinking about it. But, at least we can see a bit of the building there. Right. And then over on the French left, various permutations were looked at in terms of attacking these chaps here. One thing was to consider getting these 3-2-5s, which could have gone into an attack against these chaps, but that would have meant that they would have had to have been here, here, and here, which would have meant that someone would have had to have been attacking them and someone attacking them, and that just didn't look very attractive. So no attack against those chaps there. The Guard Heavy Cavalry Division has moved up to this position to be able to pounce on someone possibly in the next turn. And now I've got to figure out what I'm going to do about this business over here.